Most people struggle to respond when somebody asks the all too familiar question, what do you do? And because of that, they're missing out on marketing opportunities every day. My name is Kurt Stockwell, and as a StoryBrand certified guide with over 11 years of marketing experience, I've helped hundreds of businesses create marketing that actually works. You're listening to the One-Liner Workshop podcast, and in every episode, you'll learn how to create a powerful one-liner that'll make people want to do business with you. Like many professionals, Jim Paris juggles multiple roles as a professional. He's not only an EOS coach, guiding businesses to achieve their visions, but also the pioneering force behind a startup that provides architects with precise cost evaluations for their projects and independent estimators with a new career path. When faced with the common question, what do you do? Jim finds it challenging to capture the depth of his expertise into a short response. He often resorts to the catch-all term, well, I'm a consultant, a label that scarcely does justice to his essential contribution to this world. It's high time we crafted a response for Jim that's not only concise and memorable, but also sparks intrigue about the multifaceted nature of his work. Take a listen to how we crafted a perfect pitch for Jim. Let's get started. Hey, Jim, thanks for coming on the podcast. I'm really looking forward to this conversation. What we're going to do today is try to unpack a really good answer to the question, what do you do? So tell me a little bit about you and these various hats that you wear and what it means when you try to answer the question, what do you do in a networking scenario, for example, and you kind of feel like, I don't know which hat to put on at this moment to answer this question. So tell me a little bit about Jim and all these hats.
Well, let me be brief because I don't want to go back to when I started in diapers, to today. Been in construction my whole life. 26 years old when I started, ran that business for 21 years, blew it up to about 175 employees. What I really wanted was this nice, well-oiled machine. What I got instead was a roller coaster of chaos, lots of ups and downs. So eventually exited, a little bit overwhelmed and frustrated, and my life was consumed by my business. That led me into a new line of work, a solopreneur opportunity. I was doing construction cost estimating for design firms. So I went from 175 employees down to a solo consultant gig, kept a lot of my money instead of spending it on everything else. It's a real paradigm shift for me. And I loved it. Eventually it grew to the point where I was no longer in control anymore and starting to have this resonating theme. But I also wanted to do some coaching work. I actually learned about a system to help businesses get more control. And it resonated with me, and that system's called EOS. I just didn't know what to do with it at the time. I got a calling to go into my coaching world, and I'm like, well, how am I supposed to help a business owner scale and grow and take care of everything and have that nice, smooth running machine? But I've got this other thing over here that's 120% of my time and no capacity to do anything else. And it was really my faith in EOS that allowed me to look at that business in a different way and create a scalable model that I would be comfortable with. And so I started it on the EOS journey from day one. And it's, on its way to be a fairly decent sized national professional services firm and still allow me to spend 50% or more of my time working with business owners like you and others, coaching them. I really am trying to do two things with very much intention. So what happens, Kurt, here's a great example. I went down to a good friend of ours. They live in the Yakima area. He's the CFO for a large prominent company down there. And they got tickets to a polo tournament. And so I'm around all of these target market people and get introduced in what do you do? And literally it's like my brain splits in half and I have to contemplate now, do I want to tell this guy that I'm the founder of this business that I'm growing and scaling? Or do I want to tell him that I'm a coach and I work with business owners? And in that middle zone, in all of that thought process comes out like the dentist just stuck Novocaine in my tongue and I'm a consultant. And the conversation is just like dead on arrival. So,
yeah,
it's different if you say, oh, I'm the CEO of a private equity firm. Okay, I get it. Those are title-based when you're in this professional services world or coaching or ways that you help trying to, so it resonates with me. The problem you try to solve here with people is, how do you get a meaningful one-line statement that isn't title-based that tells how you help? So I have 2 different companies, 2 different target markets, but I kind of help in a similar way. I'm just wondering, is there possibly a statement that I could deliver that threads the needle on both? Because I'm presented with the same problem in my social media. Am I Jim the estimating founder, or am I Jim the EOS coach? But there's got to be a common thread, and there is. I just don't know how to articulate.
Okay, well, let's dive in. This is fun because I have never tried to put together a one-liner that, like you said, takes both sides of your brain and knits it back together so your head's not split in half. I love that word picture of you feel like you've got Novocaine shot in your mouth, and the only thing you can do is stumble through a consultant. Like the value of having a fantastic answer to the question, what do you do, of course, is opening an opportunity for a greater dialogue. And that's all that we're going to try to do today, is get to somebody go, oh, that's very interesting. Tell me more. And so what we don't want to do, though, is try to stuff so much information into this answer that all you do is confuse. So you've talked a bit about your 2 companies. You talked about the struggle that you have when you try to explain what you do. Let's identify the problem that you solve that's similar as an EOS coach and in your other business in the estimating world. How is it similar?
It's similar in that when I'm working with a business owner, and they are they're the client, right? The small business owner, the entrepreneur, founder, and he wants his business he wants to get certain things out of his business. He might not be getting them, or he wants more time capacity. He wants it to run better. All right. And I help them do that. But if you really scratch below the surface, I am helping him. I mean, I do care about his business, and that's, the vehicle. But at the end of the day, I'm trying to help him live a better life. I mean, his life is dramatically impacted by how involved, uninvolved, or profitable, non-profitable, chaotic, or seamless his business is. And, most are very hardworking people, but they do reach an element of their life where they're like, I'd just like this to be easier, right?
Yeah.
And so after I'm working for him, all of a sudden, I have a client who says, oh my gosh, I can sleep at night again. I'm not having chest pains of anxiety. I don't have everybody in my doorway the next day. Same guy says, I'm actually having fun at work again because he gets to do the things that he wants. So that's, if I zero it in, helping that person, not just the team. Now on the estimating side, I'm taking, it's kind of a similar person, but he doesn't own a business. He works in a business, and he's frustrated, likely, or he needs a breakthrough or a comeback. He's got 20 plus years of experience in the grind for a bigger company. Maybe he was promised to be an owner. Maybe he was going to get promoted. I don't know, all of those things. Or he's just tired of spending 60 hours a week at work, and he's never going to go beyond the ceiling of the salary that he makes. Well, I help them go on an entrepreneurial journey, if you will. I pull them from that desk of chained to the desk in a corporate world, support them into this independent world, their own contractor, picking their own clients, setting their own fees, working from home, having more freedom of time, living a better life. So that, to me, I believe, is the thread.
Now, one thing that we want to do when you unpack a problem, you want to make sure that anybody can understand the problem. If you said, I help small business owners and estimators gain more control over their life and get independence and freedom in their business, I think if we threw like the estimator word in there, people would be like, I know what a small business owner is. I don't know what an estimator is. What does that mean? An estimator? You know? And so if you were just doing the EOS aspect of it, and you said most small business owners struggle because their business controls their life, and I help them find freedom and get their life back, that would be a nice little bow to tie on that. Adding this another element that you do with the estimators, would you consider them, when they're working for you, an owner? Do they own their own world? They own their own little space, or are they just working for you?
Well, that's interesting. So 2 things there, if I may. Addressing EOS, I would say I work with business owners and their leaders. So going to this, you could argue, I could say that these are leaders in these other businesses. I'm not working with that business owner. But you bring up a good point. I help them leave employment, and I launch them into an entrepreneurial opportunity. They set up themselves as their own business. They're as an independent contractor, franchisee, if you will, and support them to earn more, capitalize on their manpower and or their brain power, and live a better life. So I am helping them become a business owner. In most cases, they're not true entrepreneurs at heart.
Okay.
They're hardworking people. They would like freedom and independence, but they don't have the know-how and they don't have the appetite for risk to launch like a true entrepreneur would, or they would have done it already.
Yeah, but they would fall into the business leader category, right?
Yeah.
They're a leader. Okay. So if you said most business owners and business leaders desire more control over their business and their future, we haven't thrown weird words in there, like, or not weird words, but like confusing words like I work with small business owners and estimators, to make go, okay, I don't know what that means. So if we like that problem, let's talk about the solution that you provide. So let's talk about the solution that you provide for both the estimators as well as EOS. There's 750 people on the EOS implementer side that do what you do, but you do it in a unique way. And that's why people want to work with Jim. And there's other people out there who are probably dangling the carrot in front of these estimators going, hey, I've got a better life for you. And you can have independence, yada, yada. But why does somebody want to work with Jim? So what do you feel like makes you unique in your deliverables, in your industry?
Trying to come up with an answer that's not overly cliche, right? I don't want to say, well, I care more, or I go deeper, right? I mean, I could certainly articulate my coaching style, if you will, but let me frame it this way, Kurt. Maybe you could help me with the answer.
Yeah.
This is born in me. It is in my DNA to see a brighter future for everyone. The kid comes and mows my lawn, or he's laying the pavers. Guy's 17-year-old kid. He started his own little company laying pavers. I'm already starting to ask him where he's going with his business. If he has a focused niche, if he, all of this stuff. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, people are just like, dude, you're a little wild. So it's inherent to me. So
is your wife pulling you back sometimes? Like, leave him alone.
Yeah. Yeah. Geez, Jim, we were just well, I tell you my son-in-law, I'm telling him about Ford, how to have a Ford conversation, right? It's family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Like, he doesn't know how to go into a room and connect with people. I said, you just need those 4 things. Hey, Kurt, nice to meet you. What do you do? Occupation. It'll get you talking. Tell me about your family. Do you have family in the area? I mean, you don't need to ask.
Yeah.
I just need to ask a few questions. So I challenged him to do 5 Ford conversations. My wife's pulling me back going, seriously? Look at the stress you're putting on this kid. I'm like, well,
Yeah. And I could tell you've got it's just like an innate passion to help people succeed.
Yeah. Get better, do more, be big, but almost more so than I care for myself.
So this is where probably the most difficult part of the exercise here is the solution in my mind, because at the end, the success is more confidence and a brighter future. We already kind of identified that.
So we're answering which particular question now, the what I do or how I do?
Yeah. We're going to state directly how you uniquely solve the problem identified. So the problem identified is most business owners and business leaders desire more control over their business and their future.
So here's what we would say from this point forward with EOS.
Okay.
That I provide a complete system with a simple set of tools that, when implemented with my process, would help them permanently install 3 things that we call vision, traction, healthy.
Okay.
So that is literally right out of the EOS playbook. All 750 will, deliver that. The part that sits with me is that I provide a complete system with a simple set of tools implemented with my process, and once they're permanently installed, can help you have an amazing, company. Not necessarily the same thing on the estimating side. I'm really of a system, a pathway, a road to earn more and have more freedom of time and live a better life that they desire. The end result for both is kind of the same. Very much the same.
Would you say that I guide these individuals through a system of tools and a process that reveals the path they've always been seeking?
Probably wouldn't say it that way.
Okay.
A system, tools and a system, a path to run a better business and have a better life. I don't feel like I'm revealing much, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I like the success there, to run a better business and live a better life. So we got the fact that we're using guide these individuals through a system of tools and a process. Do we not like the tools and the process for the estimator? Or would you say that the tools and the process?
I could totally get behind that. I've got a process and tools in a way. Yeah.
Okay. So we like you're guiding them through a system of tools and a process. And then what does that do? Actually, maybe we just say this. I guide these individuals through a system of tools and a process to run a better business and live a better life. We're making it too hard. Make it simple. KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Okay, I like that. Let me kind of button this up here. That would definitely make me go, well, that's very interesting. Are you a coach? Are you a consultant? And that's where that's all you're doing here is looking for an opportunity to have the next part of the conversation. So if we said, most business owners and business leaders desire more control over their business and their future. I guide these individuals through a system of tools and a process to run a better business and live a better life. You like that?
And you're right. They go, oh, tell me more about how you do that. And I would probably at that point segue into, well, tell me a little bit about you. What do you do?
Yeah. Yeah. Jump into Ford.
Yeah. And honestly, that allows me to segue into, well, I kind of have two different things that I do. Mm-hmm. But that initial opening, that initial one-liner without clarity, I've kind of just given up talking about my estimating thing because I don't know how to weave it in. And most of the time I'm not unveiling that at where I am. I don't really, you don't at this point know your audience. You don't know if you're talking just an employee, entrepreneur, or anybody.
Right.
This would be more
helpful. Right, exactly. And so that's why you have that, when people are like kind of starting to formulate like, oh, are you a coach? Are you a consultant? And, and then you can start to unpack it a little bit. So again, I think we landed on this. Most business owners and business leaders desire more control over their business and their future. I guide these individuals through a system of tools and a process. To run. I've butchered that last sentence there. I guide these individuals through a system of tools and a process to run a better business and live a better life. Yeah, I missed the two in there. I'm putting it in the chat here.
There it is. Yep.
Okay. So I stuck it in the chat there. Why don't you read that back to me and see if it feels good?
Why don't you kick this off, Kurt? Ring, ring. You say, Jim, I heard. Do something.
Okay, got it. All right, we're at an event. We're at a networking event. And I'm going to come up and go, hey, how's it going? I'm Kurt.
Hey, man, I'm Jim.
Hey, Jim. Nice to meet you. What do you do?
Well, Kurt, how most business owners and business leaders desire to have more control over their business and their future?
Yeah.
I guide these individuals through a system of tools and a process to help them run a better business and live a better life.
Wow. I'm a business owner. I'm very curious about that. So are you a coach? Are you a consultant? What does that mean?
Well,
and there we go. Now we're talking.
You're a business owner, and then we're off.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm so glad you asked. My arm is around you now and say, would you like a cocktail? Or what?
Exactly. Yep, you got it. I love that. So that feels good.
It feels good. Yeah. Good job, Kurt.
Okay, cool. We did it. Yeah. Fist pumps. If you're listening on the podcast, we're fist pumping. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see the fist pump. So cool. Now, I always ask the question, now that we've kind of landed on that, where do you feel like you will use this first to kind of get the most impact?
It's usually face-to-face. It's usually in some form of a informal setting, group of people. The next occasion that I have, not quite sure, but they creep up all the time.
Okay. So one of the things that I did with our one-liner is, I don't know if you can see this, put it on my business card.
Nice.
There you go. So you can stick it on your business card, stick it in the footer of your email, put it, now I don't think you have a traditional website for jim.com, but
we have a implementer microsite, EOS implementer microsite.
Yeah. There you go. Do you point people to that?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
I don't know how
if you have control over that, you could maybe stick that on your website.
Carl, you're building out microsites for all of our estimators for the Mac Estimating Group.
Yes, exactly. So you could stick that there as well. Yep. Fantastic. Cool. I love it. Well, if somebody wants to learn more, what's that?
I'm forever grateful.
Well, it was fun. I'm glad we got an opportunity to do this. You and I have talked about this little passion project of mine many times, and I'm happy to have you on. So if somebody wants to learn more about Jim, the EOS implementer, or Jim, the estimating contractor extraordinaire, where would they go?
Probably the simplest way that combines them both is my LinkedIn profile, Jim Paras, Paras. The other location would probably be my EOS microsite, which is jim.paras@EOS Worldwide.
Paras.
Correct.
All right. Cool. Thanks, Jim. Appreciate it. Thanks for being on the show. I'm glad you got some value out of this.
You bet, Kurt. Tremendous. Awesome.
Well, that's all for this episode. Thank you so much for listening. Follow the One-Liner Workshop wherever you listen to podcasts. And remember, businesses that succeed in today's marketplace invest in clarity and reject confusion. A great one-liner is just the first step in creating marketing that works. And if you're ready to take all your marketing to the next level, please visit welldressedwalrus.com and schedule a free consultation with me. If you'd like to learn more about StoryBrand and Donald Miller, the creator of the one-liner, check out the book Building a Story Brand wherever books are sold. I'll see you next time for the next episode of the One-Liner Workshop.